Well, it finally happened. I broke down. And before anybody says anything, no, it's not the engine. This is a Honda. I'm pretty sure this could fall into an active volcano, come out, and still run just fine. What I'm talking about is these guys right here. Hard struts are gone. They are out of here. They have been replaced with a nice set of shocks. Now, I didn't put the factory aero shocks back on here because they got like a chrome shroud and, well, there's more chrome up front, not really anything out back. They'd look out of place. I did find a used set, though, off a Honda Shadow Phantom, and I think they look pretty good without taking away from the looks of the bike too much. Now, I originally planned on using a knockoff set of progressives I found on the internet, but up here we'd have been fine. Down low with the shaft drive of the Aero, these guys down here are actually two different diameters. So it would have been a little tricky trying to find bushings, and honestly, I didn't pay a whole lot more for these than I did for the knockoff progressives. And honestly, they don't look too bad. I don't think so anyway. And the neat thing about using factory Phantom shocks is now I got my factory ride back, which I'm not saying the hard struts were bad. I'm just saying I think this is a little better. Now, when I installed these shocks, I did a little road test, rode around the neighborhood a couple times, make sure the whole bike wasn't going to fall apart on me, because I'm not a mechanic. I did this work myself. So, you never know. I'm confident enough in my abilities, but sometimes goofy things happen. So today we're going to spend a little more time in the seat, see how it feels, and yeah, I'm thinking this is probably what this bike's going to look like. Now, the very first thing I notice is those hard struts. Those actually brought the back of the bike down about 2 inches. Factory shocks are about 11.5. The struts are 9.5. So already sitting up a little higher. Just, it has my hips and my knees and everything just at a better overall angle, which was my biggest problem with the hard struts. It really wasn't my back, it was the rest of my joints. I took a trip up towards Virginia on this bike with the struts on it, and it felt like I was just reaching for the bars, like I was just leaned back way too much. And it was killing me. More of a metaphorical sense than a literal sense. But it was not a fun time. It's like, I gotta do something. Because, I mean, yeah, this is kind of set up more as like a little bar hopper or something, but at the same time, it needs to be enjoyable. Now, as cool as the hard struts look, if she's not in a good functional state, then I'm not gonna want to ride it. Which being, you know, chopped in the front with the 8-inch over forks, we got an extra 14 degrees of additional rake over the factory stuff on my 2008 Honda Shadow Aero 750. And of course, we're bobbed in the rear. The frame is trimmed a little bit. Got some blue collar bobber parts on here. The front chopper kit came from Chopper Supply LLC. So she's set up more as kind of like an in-town little bar hopper anyway. But I can already tell this is a lot nicer. Just the comfort alone. I still need to adjust the rear shocks. I don't know if my aero tool is the same as the Phantoms. I got to look into that. But I don't hate it so far. It's actually kind of a nice treat. I still got the Springer seat too, so that's definitely helping out. I even went as far as taking the forward controls off. Let's see if we can take a look down there. So now the controls are back in the stock position. I got the Kiriakin Mini Riot floorboards on there, which is presenting its own set of problems, because I've never had this bike with the mini boards on it in the factory position. I put the mini boards on after I did the forward controls. So now, with the position and everything as it is, and where I got these mini boards, I noticed my left foot keeps slipping off the back of the board. So my heel will catch right there on the bottom, kind of like that, and it just throws me off a little bit. I'm going to try to look at my feet one more time without crashing, because I want to say that, you know, there's 3 different positions on those boards. I can bring them back a notch. But then I noticed when I put my feet down on the bike, if I'm at an intersection or something like that, my shins hit the back of the floorboard. Man, railroad tracks are so much nicer now. Ooh, boy, I'm already enjoying shocks back on this bike, and it's not just for me either, too, because with the extended forks, I didn't know if the rear, the hard struts in the rear negatively affected the forks, and I don't want to have issues with them. I don't want to take them back apart. Not if I don't have to. See, yep, it just slipped off, especially when I go to downshift. It slips off the back of the board. Now, I could put pegs back on here, but when I had pegs on here, my feet felt cramped up. But that was also before the bob job, and that was before the Springer seat got put on here. So if I went back to pegs, it might be fine. I do know that 4-inch forward controls with the pegs are a bit too much of a reach. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. So it just did it again. it just slipped off again. That is extremely annoying. And of course, Kuryakin does make a set of pegs that'll go right into these adapters, and they look pretty sweet. And you guys know me, I love buying stuff for this motorcycle. So I got no problem buying pegs. Especially if they're cool looking. I just really like the floorboards because I like the ability to move my foot around. Which is why I'm tempted to put the forward controls back on here, which if I had just left them off, I was trying to figure out if no forward controls in hard struts would work. Kind of bring my knees at a better angle, but didn't work as good as these shocks did. I don't know, I'm gonna have to think about this one. Because the plus side is I still have the forward controls extensions. And I can tell I'm bouncing in my seat a little bit on them springs hitting some of these bumps. Which isn't a bad thing, I wouldn't think. Well, I don't know, if I did forward extensions though, I'd keep the boards. So it's kind of 6 in one, half dozen in another, so to speak, I guess. It is actually really nice having these shocks back on here though. I feel like I'm in a better position, a little more upright, back's a little straighter. I think I'm still kind of hunched over. I thought about doing something with these bars again, and I keep telling myself, no, leave them alone. Because I keep changing things, and I'm not going to get comfortable or used to the bike if I keep changing things. I keep changing bars, suspension, foot controls. I just need to leave it alone. But yeah, I think these shocks are a winner chicken dinner. I almost didn't buy them. I almost wanted to tough it out with the hard struts, but I think this is a lot better. Still not quite perfect, but a whole lot better. And thinking about a couple different mods I can throw on this thing, it's got me thinking about, you know, how far this bike has come since I've had it. I mean, heck, it used to look like this. And if you want to get an idea of what it looks like with the hard struts before we put the Phantom shocks on, you can check that video out right here. And as always, y'all be good. See ya.